Ladies and gentlemen, the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, proudly presents to you another amazing episode of 15 Minutes of Fandom. That's right, that's our segment where we actually dedicate the spotlight to our fellow wrestling fans, those that have been longtime fans, those that have shown dedication to the sport of professional wrestling. So with that being said, in the first corner we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana. Now they love him in Japan. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man who is all the way on the west side, the best side, coming straight from Mesa, Arizona. Everybody, welcome to the show, Kent Hansen, aka Little Voice. How you doing tonight, sir?
Woo! Not bad, not bad. Just keep busy is all.
Awesome. Hey, sometimes that's all you could do these days. I mean, the pandemic is here, but it's not all here. But regardless, life has to go on, and you just got to keep on moving.
Well, I always try to keep busy no matter what, whether it be tweeting about the pandemic or wrestling or even my dream catchers.
Awesome. Cool. Cool. That's a pretty good talent. I mean, if I tried to make a dream catcher, it would probably be like a whole like tangle of yarn and wood sticking
Uh,
out there and plastic sticking out of the back. So, but I commend you for that. That's a talent. Me, I don't have the chops to do such a thing. Maybe Rob, but not me.
Yeah,
Definitely not me.
no. I was horrible
and
at that game, Cat's Cradle, as a kid. Nope. That one where you do the strings and stuff too. I couldn't even do that, man.
uh, the fingers feel like they're kind of fat sometimes because the yarn does tangle. But hey, I get a little upset and just patiently get to it and untangle it. But I always
Uh,
win. I end up getting what I want out of it. Anybody can make those, though. I started with a kit, and then
okay.
I went to a hobby store after that, and I bought supplies for a lot less money than the kit I bought from Publishers Clearinghouse. I didn't say their name, but they were expensive. The hobby house wasn't.
Yeah. So I gotta ask. So that being a unique. Once again, I tip my hat off to you. That's a very great talent, a very unique talent. I'm sure it takes a lot of creativity and whatnot. But how long does it take you to make one of those? To make one of those.
It depends on the design I choose. Sometimes I can get started and I can have what I started with sit for days while I look at it and wonder what I should do next. But other times I can, depending again on the size of the ring, I can make one in a couple of hours. But that includes wrapping the ring and then stringing the webbing and putting beads in, putting stringers on, and then beads and feathers. And
Oh,
when I use glue, the feathers like to stick, and so do the beads. So the yarn even sticks. But yeah, I've
wow,
made them in less than 2 hours when I've had something in mind that just I see real clearly.
that's cool. I think you're like the second person that we've had on this show that have been able to do to actually make dream catchers. I think, and I could be wrong. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. But our other guest that actually was able to make dream catchers was our actually she was our main guest. And you probably have heard of her, may or may not have heard of her, Princess Victoria, former WWF Women's Tag Team Champion. She,
The name
I
is
think,
familiar.
yeah, I could be wrong. Those of y'all watching, don't quote me on this, but I think she, it was so long ago, and we've met so many people since her.
Yeah.
But I think she makes them. I could be wrong though.
I don't care if you're wrong or not. It's great if someone else makes them. I've got no problem with that. I enjoy
Yeah.
competition.
Good one. So so tell us about wrestling, man. Like what was the match or the event that got you into like, that made you become a fan of the sport?
I couldn't exactly tell you who it was. It might have been the American Dream, even, but it's when I was very young and spending the weekend at an uncle and aunt's place, which happened to be my mom's older sister. Uh, he liked to watch wrestling, and my aunt had to do something that night. So I got to go downstairs and sit with my uncle in his little bar and watch wrestling. And just watching him react to what was going on on the screen, I just got to wondering, did I really like wrestling, or was it that I liked the way my uncle reacted? Which did I enjoy more? As I grew up, I found out I enjoyed the wrestling quite a bit, so I could understand why he liked it. It's fun to watch.
You mentioned the American Dream. That guy. Oof. I'm so glad. I'm 38 years old. I'm an old man. I'm about to be 40 in like 2 years.
Your
So
audio is getting funky on you, buddy.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was saying I'm 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 38 years old, about to be 40 in like 2 years, and I'm glad I grew up when the American Dream was still wrestling. I mean, granted, I grew up on the tail end of him wrestling, because I think in 1990, I think that was when he was like winding down, and he went more into like commentary. And I mean, it was still the time when he was doing the whole polka dots, the black and yellow polka dots thing. But I'm this guy, I got to catch that last like glimmer of him. And then the other time I saw him was when he did a couple of stints in WCW as a wrestler. I mean, he was a commentator, but he also had one or two matches when he came out. He helped his son Dustin Rhodes when he had to fight Colonel Rob Parker. I forgot what Robert Fuller, as other people would know him, and his stable. And yeah, man, Dusty Rhodes. Whew, I tell you, Cody and Dustin, I can only imagine what went through their heads. His two sons, that is. What when they first started, they were probably like, "How do I like get out of this man's shadow?" Because he was um, just so
Dynamic.
large in life.
That's what I would call him, a very dynamic individual. And yeah, they had big shoes to fill. I read something from Cody just the other day, a tweet that he was talking about that. Maybe it was actually on that show, I think, that he's doing now. That was it. And he was talking about how, you know, his his older brother being in it, and then him starting, and how am I going to get out from underneath my dad's huge shadow? And the thing was to just be creative on his own and make his own path. That's what everybody has to do. And there's a lot of good wrestlers out there. One of the last matches I got to see with my uncle was the one between the Hulk Hogan, and Andre the Giant. And he couldn't believe, oh, darn, he had a gravelly voice. I think I inherited that from him. But yeah, that was an exciting match, and I had to have been 12 or so at the time. It was well, I moved out here in 1967, so it was before that. It was before June of 1967. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
go ahead.
So so living in well, don't let me jump the gun. So growing up, like, who are some of your favorites that you enjoyed watching that you just had to sit down and just look at attentively when they were wrestling?
Well, I didn't really start doing that until about 1999. And then it was Well, yeah, gotta see The Rock, gotta see Steve Austin, gotta see Eddie Guerrero. Good God, see China, the Hulk. I mean, not Hulk, but Triple H. Well, the Hulk too, but my God, so many people. When I started watching it, it was like I was glued to it every week. I couldn't, I couldn't watch anything else. Didn't matter if it was a good program that I liked or not. If wrestling was on, like now, well, I don't mean right this instance, but I mean nowadays, I watch it at least 5 days a week. So it doesn't matter who the promotion is, because I enjoy in AEW, WWE, and I also enjoy Impact Wrestling because I watched them for a long time. Kurt Angle, after he moved from WWE to TNA, and I also enjoyed seeing AJ Styles. I think Victoria is the one. She won the first. No, Gail Kim actually won the first female championship for TNT or TNA rather, but uh, Victoria ended up going from WWE to TNA, and she won the championship eventually there. But they had some really sweet looking ladies there too. And a lot of the good looking ones moved from WWE to TNA. I guess they got paid better. I don't know. Some of them ended up a couple were centerfolds, in Playboy, and one of them she ended up becoming an announcer for. After wrestling a little bit, she became an announcer for TNA, announcing the people that were going to wrestle the match. In other words, she didn't sit at the table and announce like we are.
Oh, are we having technical difficulties?
No, no,
Uh,
Oh,
no.
like
my
I
bad,
said,
my thing, my thing, my bad.
my voice gets a little gravelly, though, and that means it's just time for me to take a drink of water. Well, he went out, so maybe there is technical difficulties.
No, no, he just took his screen off. I guess
Oh,
to
there
fix
he
his
is.
camera.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
happened.
you had to fix something, man. Your screen went black on the thing. I was like, oh, hold on, I had the little circle. I was like, oh man.
Well, I see a little
Remy can
circle
hear
there,
you.
and
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wondered what the circle is about. Do I need to press that or what? I mean,
No,
can you
no,
see
no.
me? Can you
Yeah.
see me or no? Oops, party
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I can see you.
Sorry.
I can see you.
The alarm was about to shut you out on the audio, but it's also a reminder. I got to take a pill real quick.
Okay.
When you get older and you have problems, they give you pills. They used to have me on 11 damn pills. I'm back down to 2 finally. I won't take some of them anymore because of the
Nice.
crap they did to my body. I just said, no, thank you. I don't need that.
Wow.
That's right. I couldn't be doing 11 pills a day. Two's good. Two's cool.
Yeah.
Well, some of them were Percocets and even morphine, and that was for my back
Mm,
pain, which was
hmm
quite intense to begin with. I mean, nowadays it's more mind over matter because I don't take anything for the actual pain.
Yeah, my mom and dad, they usually
Yeah.
gotta take stuff for cholesterol and stuff like that,
No,
blood
I
pressure.
don't take
They
that
gotta take that
anymore.
stuff.
I control my
I'm getting to
cholesterol
that
with
age.
food.
I'm
The
getting to that age. I'm gonna have to do something. They already got me on a low sodium diet.
you really want to avoid taking as many pills as you can because some of the side effects these things have are just outrageous. And that was one of the reasons I quit taking anti-cholesterol drugs is because, hey, it can, doctors' studies pointed out that it can contribute to Alzheimer's, and dementia. It can contribute to the onset of diabetes. It can make you gain weight, especially if you're taking opioids along with it. Oh boy, there's more pills for you to take after you start doing that. And it also robs a man's body of testosterone. And when you want to keep yourself as a man, you don't want to lose your damn testosterone, believe me. That's
Oh
what I told my
nah,
doctor.
definitely
No
not.
effing way anymore. He agreed. You know, he got good and solid and solid
Yeah,
and
certain
strong.
things as a man you definitely don't want to lose. So yeah,
Well, yeah. Well, you don't actually lose your testosterone unless you start taking that kind of crap. Then it kills it. But no, there's too many ways to control your cholesterol without taking pills. Doctors give you pills anymore. They aren't like the doctors that I grew up with in the 50s and 60s, let me tell you. But anymore, they're more eager to give you pills because they get a percentage of that. You know, the more prescriptions they write for that pill, the more, well, I don't know if they get kickbacks or what, but they get something out of it. I mean, it's just some kind of system they have worked out. And the doctor that I ended up getting on so many pills with, I had at the time, I saw that man for 13 years. And then my insurance dropped him because he changed to a different uh, group that he was with. And the insurance paid for one out of two different insurance plans with that group. And he happened to be with the other group, so I couldn't see him anymore. And I hated that crap, you know. When they
yeah,
put you on insurance that just doesn't give you a whole lot of choices, if your doctor moves out of your network, you're just screwed. So you got to take what they give you. But that's not
yeah,
wrestling. That's just wrestling with life. And
yeah.
sometimes that gets a little
So
tedious too.
oh yeah. So in terms of so in terms of professional wrestling, like what's the wrestling scene like on in Arizona? Because I've always been curious. I've seen wrestling in California, and I know that you guys have a promotion. I think they're actually in Mesa. It's called if it's not in Mesa, it's probably in Phoenix. It's called Championship Wrestling from Arizona. But I've always been curious, like what's the wrestling scene like over there?
You know, in actuality, I don't know because I haven't seen much about them. Uh, just a little bit, and I think you were right about them being in Phoenix, because but that's the little that I do know, and just aware of them is all. And they train people more. You know, I'll bet you they don't have much more than a 200 seat type of a setup. You know, oh, he went out now. His screen went black.
I
My
know.
head just keeps turning to the side. Is all. I try to keep my camera, you know, oriented with my head. And what can I say? Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish I knew more
technology for
about
you.
these people, but I just don't, you know, because to my knowledge, there aren't many of them on Twitter or any of them on Twitter. So, but I know of them is about all I can say. Oh, you got a baby, cute baby too. Yes, I like animals too. I've always loved animals my whole life. You know, uh, from the time I was yeah, I actually have very first memories that I can solidly and proved it by telling it to my mother. She says to me, "How the hell can you know that? You had to be only 6 months old at the time." I don't know, Mom. I just do, and I still remember that. I still remember, you know, other memories from when I was very young. So, like I said, when I first started watching wrestling with my uncle, I was 5 years old. And I can still remember that stuff. You know, I don't have I wouldn't say I have total recall because there's a lot of shit you have in daily life. You just don't want to remember, so you sort of screen that out of your brain. But the important stuff like that, well, yeah, I can remember that stuff. Yeah, and watching wrestling, yeah, there's a lot of matches I could tell you word for, you know, move for move who did what. But then if I did that, I probably wouldn't be enjoying it as much because I'd just rather sit there and see what they do because they're awesome. They make me laugh at times. They amaze me. They go, times it's how the did they do that? The same way with the women, man. I love watching them because they just kick ass as bad or harder than the men do, you know? And they just amaze me so much. Yeah. Wow, how did they do that? Well, it takes lots and lots and lots of practice because you can tell by the way they do this, they are well skilled at it and they have done it many times. Otherwise, they might get injured. You don't want to have anybody injured. You might get bruises. That's what Cody was saying the other night. He says, you work hurt a lot, but you do not work when you're injured. And he was saying that because one of his guys in a match, he just got hired not long ago. One of his guys got a broken neck. Oh, jeez. You know how that is. Edge got a broken neck. He was out for 9 years. Or was it
Oh yeah,
10? It was a long damn time. I was so happy to see him come back when he did.
yeah,
I've been smiling every time he comes out now. You know, well, I always do when he did. But even Christian, well, Christian's now the TNA champion. But I take that back. No, yeah, he still is. Uh, one of the guys on the match just the other night lost their title to Kenny Omega. I just shook
yeah,
my head. I think
yeah.
it was the Impact Wrestling. Go
Christian
ahead.
has definitely come along. Christian's definitely come a long way because
Yeah.
I remember when he was challenging Batista, and I was like, Christian? Nah, I can't see him as world champ, man. He'll make a boring champ, man. I know. And then when he left WWE and went over to TNA, and I saw him win the title, I was like, this guy can really hold himself as a champion. Like Vince really, to me, Vince never gave Christian a chance. That's the sad thing about it. And it's like, even from the beginning of his WWE career, Vince just didn't see any value in him. And from what I heard, was actually um Edge actually, put in a word for him. And then,
But yeah, well,
he got his WWE and he made himself work, he made it work for himself. And at least he got one world title, I think one or two world title reigns, and that was it. But I mean, yeah,
I don't
he did well
recall
for himself.
exactly. I know he had the title. I thought you guys were saying something. I knew he had the title at least once when he was with TNA. I hear myself in your background, guys. That's because I talk on the CB or have. I hear that audio. So when it goes wacky on me, you go, you have an audio problem. I don't generally experience that because I don't usually use live streaming like this. But even on my radio, the only problem I have now is there just aren't many people using the CB as there used to be. A lot of the old timers, some have died, some just quit using it. And then I had problems with my radio and setup just wasn't working for me because, you gotta have power to run your radio. And my little power unit, well, yeah, it's like a
Yeah. So
transformer. It gives you exactly your 12 or 13 volts that you need, to run that. But like I said, I can hear my audio in the background. It's very distracting.
so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. 'Cause I know Rob has some questions for you. So Rob, go
Great.
ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How you been doing today?
Oh, well, today I've been busy. Like I said, I finished up that one nice autumn themed dream catcher. It's dazzling, I have to say. But everything I make in the way of a dream catcher comes out beautiful, and I have no qualms about telling people that because it's
That's
true.
right.
So,
That's right.
like I said, I finished that up, was doing some tweeting to some of my groups that in Ringside Society is one of them, that I don't know how I got officially or unofficially added to everybody's list, but people seem to like me or like what I have to say. So I try to keep up and answer those
There you go.
folks, you know.
That's right, man. Do your thing. They like it, man. Keep doing it.
Well, yeah. And plus, I don't always post uh, dream catcher pictures. I do other things. Maybe you saw the carving I did, a little tiki carving. I held on to that thing since I was a Boy Scout and went to a jamboree, the last jamboree I
Mm,
went to when I still lived in Iowa. And I held on to that because I couldn't think of a thing to carve when I was a kid back then. I stashed it away. One day I found it a couple of years or so back, and I started carving it with a little razor blade that comes from a razor knife. And I did all that by hand, and, and sanding and stuff. And it looks like somebody I should know. I tell you that much. But I don't know who it is. That's just a face I saw that I had to carve it. And some people don't believe that was my first attempt ever, like
that's right.
sculpture. And it ain't perfect, but it damn sure looks pretty good, after I painted it. So, that kind of stuff. Plus, I give people advice when they have, whether they ask for it or not, sometimes. Sometimes I do get asked, and I have even been told I give good advice. Well, if it's good, that means they tried it and it worked for them. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be good. You just have to go with the flow.
That's right. If I give advice, do the opposite of what I say, and you'll be fine.
I would
Whatever I
very
say, do the opposite, and
carefully,
you good.
I would very carefully scrutinize the advice before attempting to follow or not follow it.
That's right. That's right. So you're over there in Arizona, man. Are you near the Grand Canyon? I've never been out there, and that's something I've always wanted to check out. Are you
Well,
near it, or is it
I
like?
have lived in this state since 1967, and I have never seen more than just the bare edge of the South Rim because in 1984 I got to see more of Arizona than I'd ever seen before because I started setting mobile homes with this company.
Mm,
And one mobile home we happened to set was up there at Grand Canyon, uh, well, south side of it. And it's on the reservation there. So I'm not anywhere near it. It's like about 300 miles away. It's
okay,
north of Flagstaff, and I'm down here by Phoenix. I have seen the Lowell Observatory, though, in the telescope there in Flagstaff. My mom and I did a day drive one day. Talk about a long day drive, but we sure saw a lot of Arizona that day, too.
that's right. You got a lot of is it a lot of desert and was it cacti out there? And do you see Snoopy's brother Spike out there sleeping on under the cacti?
Uh, no, I don't necessarily get out into the desert myself to look for things or people, but I could have ended up out there myself at one time, because when I lost my home,
Mm,
this is where I ended up. Thank God for that, even though it's not perfect. Nothing ever is really, but this is sure as hell better than not having a roof and not having access to water or a clean toilet or a shower. So, yeah, I can sit on my butt and make dream catchers here and have my TV running all day and tweet.
That's right.
I just mess around and watch wrestling and talk to people. I do a lot of
That's right.
tweeting. Geez, I got since I started in September 2019, I've got over 25,000 tweets now. There are
Nice.
retweets there too, but already over 25,000 tweets on Little Voice, and on my Only One Girl for Me account, I'm over 5,000 now on that. So in 2 years' time, I put out a lot, but there's a lot of people I don't know. God only knows, and them, I guess, how they get started. This year, a few months back, have 60,000 followers, and my God, 100 and something thousand tweets. Oh, wait a minute, something
Mm.
doesn't add up here. Uh, you know, I guess it's because you have so many characters you can use on your tweets, and I use almost every one every time. I'm loquacious. I talk a lot. That's what loquacious means, likes to talk.
There you go.
So
There you
if you
go.
see my jaws going like this, you're watching too closely.
That's right. That's the word of the day. Loquacious. Loquacious. There
Well,
you
that's
go.
one of Bray Wyatt's favorite words. He's a Gemini, another air sign, and he also
Oh,
likes
okay.
to talk. He has
I'm
much said so. I read that.
what am I? Aquarius. What's that one? The water?
That's
That's
an
the
air
water one,
sign
right?
too.
Okay.
Aquarius is an air sign. It's
Okay.
like a goat head with a almost like a fish body. I think is one that characterization I've seen. But air signs, we're the ones
Yeah.
that have that mental capacity to surprise people.
That's right. That's right. Hey man, maybe that explains why, like, I'd always have a dream, of owning a guitar with like an awesome like goat head on there, like a devil demon goat head, just like that's probably why, I mean, you got a devil mixed with the goat head with the fish, man. That's probably why, man. It's in my instincts.
Well, it's some of the symbology that they use. It adapts and changes, as the centuries roll on, but it's still basically the same characterizations. I mean, if it hadn't been working 500 or 1,000 years ago, they wouldn't have been using it. Hell, they were using astrology before Jesus was born. So,
Hmm.
it's well established, and well, it follows patterns, and people do too.
Hmm.
You when you're an air sign, like I said, you're considered more or less. These are the thinkers and stuff. Not always, but I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. Rising signs, like I said, there's a lot I get into and have for years. I could tell you a lot, but I sure as hell couldn't do. Well, I could actually do you a mini horoscope, but I'd be taking all of that from a book that already describes. And I have done that for people, and they go, "How can you do this and know so much about me?" Well, I got it out of this book right here. I even posted a picture of that book,
That's right.
which is
That's
funny
right.
because it says how to write your own horoscope.
That's right. Now with Bray, now you mentioned Bray Wyatt, man. With him being, I guess free agent now or whatever, do you expect him, maybe popping up somewhere AEW, TNA, or do you think maybe he was going to do his own thing? 'Cause I can see him being creative, like doing movies or something, like doing like stuff on Netflix or Hulu, something like that, because they did do
He's
that Undertaker New Day thing on Netflix. That's pretty fun. But yeah, do you think Bray Wyatt, do you expect him turning up somewhere, or you think, maybe he'll go in a different direction?
well, I think the man does like to wrestle, and he does like his characters and stories. And even though they haven't been wildly successful, you can't blame that on him per se. It's just the way things were done, because of, well, who owns the place.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't I'd swear he's got to be an air sign too. Vince McMahon, of course, what I'm talking about there, because that guy's a billionaire after all. I mean, he must be doing something right. And,
Hmm.
well, or he has a hell of a rising sign for an air sign because, good God, some of the things he's done since he took over from his father
Hmm.
have been just phenomenally successful. And
Yeah.
he really kind of skyrocketed the business. And so did his wallet get skyrocketed as it went too. And then, well, no chance. I love that guy's entry music. He cracks me
Oh
up
yeah.
every time he comes out, except for the
Yeah.
last time that he came out and he said, "Where the hell have you been?" And then turned around and
Yeah.
walked off the stage.
I
Love
do
that
like, yeah, I
guy.
do like the billionaire strut too.
Yeah, well,
I
Jesus.
love that.
Well,
That's just great.
he really
That's Vince
started doing
McMahon.
that strut because he was lifting weights. And as you
Yep.
get bulkier, and believe it or not, I was bigger at one time. I was younger too, but he started working out with weights and he's just kept at it. I don't know if he does so much now because he's what in his 70s, late 70s
Yeah.
maybe. And if he's still working out, I applaud the man, you know. But you don't have to go vigorous exercise to maintain strength.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've lost muscle mass, but there's still things I can do that prove that I still got that strength in there and I
Hmm.
still have a lot of definition. I just don't
That's
have the
right.
mass I used to have. And part of that is because I'm not as active physically as I used to be. But that doesn't mean I can't stand on 4 inches of foam, balance on one foot, and take my damn pants off either. And I'm almost 67. And I still got my friggin' regular original hair color. I haven't dyed it, but I got a thing of dye if I want to try that.
That's right. That's
But you
right. Hey
know,
man, yeah. My dad's 62. He's still got full head of hair. Well, it's a little bald right here, but pretty much yeah, good. So I'm like, all right, woo! I'm looking forward to that. That's the only thing I'm trying to beat is baldness, man.
well, you can kind of defeat that too by using some of the products they have out there nowadays.
That's true.
Like Keeps is one I keep hearing a commercial for. And then, of course, that expensive doctor that has several ways. He used to start out with plugs, which are still
Hmm.
very successful. Just kind of, I don't know how the guy does it. That's got to be, kind of complicated because they go in a pattern and they take it from an area on your scalp where it's uh, very unlikely to be losing the hair. You know, like pattern baldness, it always affects one certain part. Like your buddy here, he's getting kind of a high forehead. That's sort of a sign of pattern baldness. Like my mom said to me one day, "Kent, you're losing your hair. You're going bald." And I said, "No, Mom, I've always had a high forehead here." Because she hadn't really seen me with my hair slicked back and pulled into a ponytail until that time. And of course, you have a stray hair here and there. The only spots I've really gone bald in are right here and right here. Two little spots about the size of a $50. So,
Hmm.
nah, it's not something I'm worried about. My dad had a full head of hair up to the day he died. Well, except for when he was taking his radiation, radiation treatments, because he did have a cancer at one time, and yeah, he beat it. He ended up he had to have an operation to get rid of it, but yeah, he beat it. And, oh man, I'll tell you what, they gave him double doses of chemo and hit him hard with radiation. And Jesus, those double doses of chemo, though, my God, they made him sick. He had one double injection to go, and when he came in to see the doctor, I drove him there, and I went in with him because he was about ready to drop. And the doctor looks at him and says, "Well, I'm afraid we made your dad sick with the chemo, so I think we're going to have to wait a week before we give him that last dose." So we did. and he looked a lot better the next week, and he didn't have to go back anymore after that. Then he started the radiation. That's what
That's
made
right.
him lose hair. But he never lost it all. He lost a lot. Hell, on
Yeah.
a regular basis, people lose anywhere from 80 to 100 hairs a day. I don't lose that many anymore, it seems. Lately, my brush is not getting quite as full. And that's actually a good thing because, you don't want to have problems with thinning hair. Oh my God, maybe I should shave my head. Fuck no, I'm
That's
not going
right.
to shave my head. Well, I had that done once. A buddy, I had him shave it, just because I went from long hair to totally bald. He shaved. He left a little arrow on the middle. I said, "You can't.
Mhm.
You shave that out."
Mhm. That's right.
He did, but that's the only time.
That's right.
Other than
Well, I'm
that,
glad plugs are better now because I remember seeing a commercial like that when I was a kid and asking my dad. I was like, "Yeah, well, where do they get the hair from?" He didn't tell me that they got the hair from better. He said they got the hair from somewhere else. So you could be having straight hair here and then it's all curly right here. And I was like,
yeah, because they took it from your crotch, buddy.
as
That's
my pop
probably
said, my
what he
pop was
told
always
you.
like that. When he first saw Yokozuna, we were watching. I think it was like Superstars. I remember the first thing he said, he's like, "Man, that dude is huge. How does he wipe himself? Does he have Mr. Fuji go and hose him down in the yard?" I was like, "Oh my God, Pop! Like my dad don't care, man." He's like, "I'm like, damn." He's like, "You're gonna tell me he can reach around there like that?" I'm like, "Damn, okay,
Sometimes they get
okay."
so
To
bulky,
this day,
they
I
really do
still think of that,
wonders
man. I'm
that.
like, Pop.
Well, I had my buddy of 30 years, first guy I ever met when I moved out here. My mom introduced us to, went to the same church over here because that's only a block away from me. And yeah, I knew him for 30 years, and he always had rheumatoid arthritis. And he bought, poor guy used to have his mom wipe his butt for him. But after his parents died, he had to buy a handicap device, which he
Mm.
could reach there and, you know, they're available. Maybe these big bulky guys need to check that out too, because you can't wipe your ass, you are handicapped, or you need to get a bidet.
There you go.
You know
Yeah,
what a
the thing,
bidet
shoot some
is?
water up in there, you're like, ooh, okay. There
Damn
you go.
right. It feels good. It keeps you clean. You don't
There you
have to
go.
mess with it, but I'd still wash my hands afterwards anyway.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah.
doesn't
You don't want to end
stand
up
the
with pink eye
doctor's
and stuff.
procedure.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want pink eye, man. Yeah, no.
No, no, well, you won't get pink eye from that. You get something a lot worse. But no, you
Yeah,
don't want to get nothing. You just as soon
that's right.
wash your hands and be safe.
That's right. So we got like a pay-per-view coming up right before the Crown Jewel thing. Are you going to catch that? I think the
Um,
main event, like what's the main event? Is it Becky Lynch, Sasha, and Belair? Is that the
yeah,
main event
yeah,
right now?
triple threat match.
Yeah, I know
I
they got
I
that, and then
don't know right
Goldberg's
now.
fighting. I think Goldberg's fighting Lashley. I think that's
Yeah,
and Ian's fighting Drew. I believe. I think
no,
that's
he's
all I
he's
know.
not going to fight him. He's going to kill him.
Yeah,
Hadn't you
okay.
been
There you
listening?
go.
That
That's
guy
right.
looks serious too. Because hey, the guy screwed with his son. Well, his son made the mistake of going in thinking he needed to help rescue his dad. Well, his dad's been in the game for a long time. His son didn't need to come help him, but it was just as well that this happened because, I kind of get tired of seeing Lashley beat up the same people all the time. My God, that guy when he was in TNA, he was an ass kicker then. He beat Drew there too. So it's like it's a game. These two guys go back and forth and play. Doesn't matter what promotion they work for. They know each other. They get along off stage. I bet. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know, you have to kind of get along with whoever it is that you're wrestling, uh,
Hmm.
because you got a locker room full of people that want to keep their jobs and they want to do well and they want to entertain. And if they make me laugh, I can say they entertain people for sure. But I think he's got a match. Drew, that is. I think he has a match in that too. At this time, I'm not really sure I'll be able to watch it or not because I had to shut off my pay-per-view stuff at the beginning of
Mm.
this month because of a financial misfortune, which I'm praying to God I'm going to have settled very soon. And I think it's things have been working that way, but I'm not into giving a prediction on that. On wrestling matches, maybe.
There you go. There you go.
My own finances, like, no, I can't predict what's going to happen there.
That's right. That's right. Hey, I can't either, man. I was born with a hole in my pocket, man. So yeah, I live on
Well, I
Kool-Aid
wear
sandwiches.
holes in my pocket for my keys, and then I lose all my rent, and I've lost all my bank that way. If I lose my
Man,
rent,
yeah,
I don't have no rent to pay stuff with or pay for stuff.
that's right.
People accept rent because they must. They find it in their pockets too.
hmm
It gets
That or bits of
around.
string. Do you accept
Yeah.
bits of string? I got that.
Well, yeah, that's all it is. I mean,
There you
it's
go.
it's basically like shavings of your cloth as a like the pocket cloth.
hmm
You see where that's worn thin because I used to carry my keys, about 1,000 keys, I think, in my pocket all the time when I wasn't driving, especially working when you're working like I did jobs. You're outside a lot, sweat your ass off. An electrician generally will start the job from under the ground and work their way up. I did that on a whole building just south of here. It's a fitness place. And yeah, I remember starting underground. First thing we did the underground for that whole lot. And there's 5 different businesses on that lot. And each of those
Nice,
things we did.
nice. I used to do heat and air back in the day when I was younger, and one of the guys on our crew, he used to watch wrestling a lot too. So him and I, we would be like in a crawl hole or an attic or something, just sitting there all day talking about wrestling. I remember our, like the other guys would be like, "Would y'all shut up? Y'all not taking a breath all day?" And I mean, y'all just sit here from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. just. Just like, hey
Well,
man, we
I
got
hope those
armchair
places
booker.
were.
Then we gotta do this. We gotta make predictions. We gotta think this going to happen.
Well, I hope those attics and that were cool for you, or you worked only during if it was,
No.
I don't know, new construction, or if
Oh,
you're,
it was new construction. Yeah, them
you
attics.
did,
Yeah, it was like 200 degrees up in there. I'm 150 pounds, and I would lose like 30 pounds of water weight going up there. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
oh, yeah. I mean, you have to have like this one guy worked with Les Finnerty. I was still an apprentice then. And I stopped to get a drink of water, and he said, "Damn, why don't you put a straw in that and strap it to your back so you don't have to stop working so often?" I
Hmm.
laughed my ass off at him. Said, "Dude, maybe you ought to get down from your ladder and take a drink of water once in a while too, because you don't look like you fare very well when you stop sweating. You don't. You stop sweating, you're in trouble,
That's right. That's right.
especially
So,
in
are
the
you?
heat out here, though."
Oh yeah, yeah, that desert. Yeah, I've never been out there to Arizona. Everybody says, "Oh man, it's a dry heat." I'm like, still 105, 105, man. I don't care how, woo.
You, honest to God, when the humidity is down around 5% or lower, and it gets that out here frequently during the summer, from May through June anyway. Yeah, you hardly.
Oh, I think your audio.
Have that nasty heat hit me in the face.
I think you're cutting up. You're holding on your microphone. I can't hear you. We can't
Oh,
hear you.
sorry, bud. I think I did have my finger over the microphone.
Yeah.
Trying
Oh,
to
you're
hold
good.
this
You're good.
phone so my
Yeah.
face keeps there in the center, but that ain't working too well either. My
Yeah.
face
It's all
moves too
good.
much.
It's all good. I only got like another question or two, man. And yeah, I'll pass back on to Remy, man. I was gonna ask, do you watch any indie stuff like like catch it on YouTube or any of that stuff?
I haven't, but geez, that's mostly because I'm busy watching a whole lot of other stuff. But I have watched Ring of Honor wrestling. If you guys
Mm,
keep up with that, because
yeah.
Jay Lethal is one of the guys that came from TNA, and he's now one of the guys that's an executive there with Ring of Honor Wrestling, and I like that too. The Briscoe brothers, those guys are
You're in
one
Delaware.
hell of a tag team. If you've ever seen them wrestle, I'm pretty sure they'd probably kick the Young Bucks' ass. But don't tell them I said that.
Oh no, you're good.
Young
The
Bucks,
Young
I
Bucks,
like them
the
too,
Young Bucks
son.
live like about 30, 40 minutes south of me. So yeah, they got their farm and all that. Yeah, they're farm boys, man. They probably they put a whooping on them.
Well,
You mean
yeah,
you mean the
they can. I
Briscoes?
mean, they're
Yeah, the
very
Briscoes. I mean,
capable.
yeah, the Briscoes. My bad. Yeah, the
Well,
Briscoes
the
put hurting on
Briscoes,
them.
I don't know where they live, but
Yeah, they're
I
in
know.
Delaware. They're here in Delaware. They're here in
Uh,
Delaware. Yeah, the
yeah.
Young Bucks. I'm not sure. My bad. I got confused. Yeah. But yeah, man, if you ever check out indie shows, man, November 6th, 1CW, I'm gonna be refing those shows. I'm gonna have like a couple matches on there. I'll be refing, man. So
All
if
right.
you're on it on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever, yeah, go check it out. We're also with our sister promotion, CCW. So we got
Oh,
some badass women on there kicking butt too, man. So
oh,
definitely
cool.
fun for everyone. November 6th, man. Yeah, check it out.
Well, I have to write. Well, I am going to write that down right now.
That's right. I'm gonna
YouTube is.
be out there.
I don't have
One,
Facebook,
two,
but
up, two. Yeah, you
let's
have to follow them
see.
on Facebook, Twitter, and stuff. One
Indie
CW.
wrestling. Yeah, I do have some indie guys follow me, and I get along pretty well with them. And I read what they had to say about the different wrestlers, but no, I haven't seen them yet because I didn't know, number one, that you could watch them on YouTube until just recently when I saw somebody else's tweet with a link set up. And I thought, well, shit, do I have time right now? No, I didn't. So I still haven't seen them, but you said November 6th, huh?
Yeah, November 6th. Yep.
Yep.
It starts at like about six o'clock. Yep,
Now,
6 or 7
is that standard
Eastern.
time or daylight
Eastern
time?
Standard. Yeah, yeah, Eastern. I forgot you're in Arizona. Yeah,
Yeah,
7 o'clock
Arizona's
Eastern.
on
Yeah,
Mountain Standard Time all the time. And that's
yeah. So
because
you're
of the business they used to be doing with Mexico, commerce and that. And now, since this open border thing is going on, Jesus Christ, a bad idea there, if you ask me. But
there. You go.
I didn't vote for the clown. I mean, the man.
What is
Sorry,
it?
I
What is it? What
have
are you?
my.
Y'all are 3 hours though, right? It's 3 hours from the East Coast or 4.
It's 3 hours when it's
Okay.
Eastern Daylight Time.
Okay,
Normally,
so
it's
it'd
just
probably be like
two.
about it'd be like 3 in the afternoon your time, 3 or 4 your time.
No, it's 3 hours difference when it's Eastern Daylight Time, and then
Oh,
we're
okay.
still on Mountain Standard Time. Because normally on Eastern Standard Time, it's only a 2 hour difference. I like the Standard Time much better, but hey, it wasn't my idea to start daylight savings time. You don't save a damn hour by getting up an hour earlier and setting your clock. Yeah, and it wasn't even Ben Franklin that came up with that idea. It was the French that the Congress got that idea from. I thought, you stupid bastards. Why'd you even
That's right.
listen to that?
That's right.
What do
So
I
before I
know?
pass it on back, I was gonna say before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you for taking time out of your day, come on chat with us. I definitely had a blast talking about wrestling and everything else about that. You know what I mean? Woodwork and car and all that, man. I wish you nothing but the best. All the positive things happen to you. I hope everything works out for you and come out the
Well,
other
it
side
will.
kicking butt.
Things always change, No matter how bad things get, you only have upward to go from there. So, and change is inevitable. It's the only constant that we as human beings know of in the universe. So it
Oh
will
yeah.
change. Whether it'll be better right away or not, I can't claim that, but I know it'll be different. And if it's different than what I've got happening now, that's better.
Yeah. So I just got to say, Kent, it's been an honor to have you on our show. Finally, I know that we've talked back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we can that you actually found time to be on our show. Really and truly appreciate it. And this is one of the segments that we live for and that we enjoy doing
Awesome.
because we always enjoy talking to fans, not just all over the country but all over the world as well. So we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. Before we shut the show down, where can fans find you on social media if they want to talk wrestling or if they want to purchase some dream catchers as well?
Well, if they want to purchase a dream catcher, they probably best ask me on either at Little Voice 349 uh, or my at Only One Girl for Me accounts on Twitter. They can ask me if I will DM with them. Oh, fortune. Just to talk business, but don't go ahead and DM me first and expect me to answer right away because I just don't do that normally. They're like you guys when you did, yeah, because I talk to you on Twitter all the time. And new followers that do that to me, I just that shows no respect. And they have an agenda too, and it's usually women, of course. And I
Yeah,
look like a young guy. I mean, my God, I'm almost 67 in about 10 more days now, or 11. Uh, maybe it is 12. I forgot. I said one
yeah,
day when I put a tree, I was tired at the time and I just finished shaving and said, I think it's time for a nap, but I'm going to do this first. I don't know how I missed it. It's a day away from, no, it was 12 days. Now it's more like 11. But I'm still going to be 67 soon. And my God, there's
awesome.
my brother doesn't even have his original hair color. He has all gray. Why? He was in the Marine Corps for 21 years. He says, I raised enough kids. But yeah, that's how come he got gray hair. I live a lot slower lifestyle, more relaxed. Even when I'm fretting about something, I'm not getting any gray hairs out of it. So I do all right, man. As far as busy schedules go, when I get busy, I get one track minded. And I even missed wrestling, just pissed me off. I fell asleep before SmackDown and Rampage came on. And I just, oh, wait a minute. Isn't that supposed to be on tonight? Or was that next week they're going to have it on Saturday night? I'll have to double check that. But yeah, if it's on tonight, I'm going to be watching AEW, believe me. But if not,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll go back to fixing a new dream catcher. Because when I have an idea about those things, man, I like to go from start to finish, especially if it's a clear one. I can do that. Looks like we're about out of time. Minute and a half to go. And I
yeah,
blew it all for you.
awesome. Well, once again, thank you very much for being on our show. Really, truly appreciate it. We're about to shut it down right now, but before we do so, Rob Base, where can fans find you on social media if they want to, talk wrestling, and where can bookers and promoters find you if they want to book when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Rob_base82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Base.
Awesome. If you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. You can find me on Twitter under at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28. However, our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram under at Ringside Society. We're also on Twitch under at Ringside Society 2019, and we're also on Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society, and you'll find our group. And we're also on YouTube. Yes, YouTube is another one of our platforms. Actually, where this episode is being streamed live right now. So go ahead and
Awesome.
just type in Ringside Society. Once you see that sweet blue and dark blue and light blue yin and yang sign with the blue flames around it, then you'll know it's us. So go ahead and subscribe. Don't personalize the subscription. Subscribe to all because we got a lot of cool videos coming up. So definitely check us out there. And we also have a Teespring store. Yes, Teespring is where we actually sell our merchandise. We have all sorts of merchandise. We have
Wow.
tank tops for the hot weather. We have regular shirts. We have long sleeve shirts for the cold weather that's coming up. We have hoodies. You know, it's hoodie season now, so we got the hoodies for you, all different types
Awesome.
of colors. And we also have coffee mugs. That's right. You know, if you know it's pumpkin spice latte season. You know,
Yeah.
so what better way to look cool than to have a nice little ringside study coffee mug with your warm beverage of choice, whether it's pumpkin spice latte, my personal favorite green tea lattes, or good old fashioned hot chocolate marshmallows. You
There you
know,
go.
we got the
I
coffee
like
mugs
hot
for you.
chocolate. I like my coffee black though.
Oh yeah, that's the
I
best way to drink it
rarely
actually,
take
from what I heard.
cream. I'll have a flavored coffee, buy something like that and grind the beans ourselves. I got a
Yeah,
nice little coffee grinder to do that. But one more place that they can find me is a seeker I am on Instagram. And it's just that way. A seeker I am in all lowercase letters. So
awesome.
I've
So y'all
got
definitely
about 110 posts on there now. So a lot of them are my dream catchers. So
awesome.
there you
So
go, guys.
definitely make sure you follow this man. He's very talented. If you're looking for dream catchers, or you just want to see the talent he has, definitely check him out. You won't regret it. Um, and with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. um, live. We really and truly appreciate it. You know, this means a lot to us. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself in the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being
Oh, you
said,
sound good to me. I'm glad I
we
did this finally. I've been wanting to. I just needed to stop and take a breath and do it.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah, there's
fun.
nothing wrong with that.
It was fun
But
to do. I got somebody that's trying to get hold of me now, and they keep crossing over the screen, so I keep missing you guys for a moment. And I go, you gotta kind of get out that way.
okay.
So those
But
notifications, when they pop up, I have to slap them out of the way. That
it
makes me,
happens.
yeah. Well, I'm
But
gonna have to go.
yeah, with that being said, we we just want everybody out there to know that we're very well and aware that we here at Ringside Society, we understand that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast, but we're not your grandparents podcast. We're not your parents podcast. We're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey yo, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, the Murtaugh to my Riggs, or the Riggs to my Murtaugh. What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast. I should have put the Frank Sinatra to my
Oh, hey, or you
Sammy
can
Davis
Sammy
Jr.,
Davis
but
Jr.
next time. But yes, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And with that being said, we will be back tomorrow with another impressive guest. But with that being said, we're still going through a pandemic. So until the pandemic is completely over, stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all.
Peace,
Good night.
guys. Good
Stay
night.
classy,
Sleep
Delaware.
tight.